Hey, Miles.
Hey Pete,
Hey, you're going to show us how to measure tachometers with the Scatus RS today?
yeah, let's do it.
All right, that sounds like fun. So this is the Scatus RS recorder software, the embedded software that comes with the RS?
It is. You can see we're signed into it here through the web browser.
Cool. And we can set everything we need to do up here, huh?
That's been my experience, yes.
All right. I hear we support two different types of tachometer devices, analog and digital.
That's correct.
Oh, okay. What is a digital tachometer?
Digital tachometer, it's an analog signal from 0 to 5 volts.
0 or 5 volts only. Is that
I
right?
see.
It's digital. It's like only two values.
So it's either 0 or it's 5, one or the other.
Okay. But the Scatus RS can actually take some inputs other than 5 volt. There's a little bit of forgiveness.
It seems like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes I think I've heard those digital tachometers referred to as TTL devices. Does that, or it produces a TTL signal? Have you
That
heard?
is correct. That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Okay. But an analog tachometer would be any voltage, could be -5 to +5,
It could be, yeah.
0 to 10.
It's up to you to define the, I'll call it the trigger parameters.
Okay, digital and analog. And if we have a digital tachometer device,
Yep.
speed sensor or encoder, whatever it is, then we can use these specialized inputs on this REC unit, the main brains unit of the Scatus RS.
Yeah, the REC has 3 different, I call them plugs, that handle these pulses, and each plug handles 3 tachos. So
3 tachometers or
3 tachometers per
input.
input.
So that's 9 total.
So that's 9 total. Yeah. That's
wow,
correct.
that's a lot. And then if I wanted to measure an analog, what would I do?
The analog, well, we have it in our universal 12-channel module, and in that 12th channel, you can switch the conditioning to accept an analog tachometer.
Okay, the 12th channel, and only the 12th channel.
Only the 12th channel.
Like the 12th man on the field in a football game.
No,
American football,
leave
not
no
soccer.
man behind. Exactly.
Okay. Okay, so we got a tachometer hooked up to our Scatus RS on one of these digital inputs. You want to show us how we would set that up in the Scatus RS recorder app here?
Yeah, we would go to the channels here, and you can see in the REC unit, I've got the digital pulse category opened.
And there's up to 9 tachometers possible there.
There is,
9
yeah.
speed sensors, cool.
And I can turn on the first one here, you can see.
All right, and that's what we've hooked up to?
That's what we've hooked up to. We have a digital tacho here.
There's some other settings besides digital tacho that it could have been set to?
Yeah, the most important ones are here in the pulse processing area. You can see we have encoder pulses per revolution and the skip pulses.
So we have 10 pulses per rev here.
We do.
Okay. And how would I know that I'm reading the RPM correctly?
Well, I would go back to, we have a monitor area here to visualize that.
Okay.
Let's go there. See here, I've got a 900 RPM signal.
Oh, cool. And I see your RPM is changing.
It is slowly going up.
Cool. So yeah, we know that the RPM is working right. And let's say I said, oh, this should have been 95 RPM or so. Maybe our pulses per rev was off. Can I change that easily?
You can. There's a menu option here. Click on the 3 dots, edit channel properties. We'll go down to the pulse processing. And maybe we want to change that to 1 pulse per rev.
Okay, well, that made it go up to 9,000. Maybe
that's
it was
the
supposed to
opposite.
be 100 pulses per rev, huh?
I think you're right, Pete. There we go, to 100 pulse per rev, and now we're at 93.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So I can change those pulses per rev on the fly, and then I can just make sure that it's all working correctly, huh?
That you can.
Well, that's cool. What if I wanted to see this RPM instead of on this strip chart? Maybe see it in a big readout or something. Can I do that?
Yeah, there's a custom here you can see.
And what if I like a big analog gauge?
Analog would give you a nice big gauge. You can pick the channel here, you can see. And there's the gauge.
Cool. And I can see that the RPM is reading out there on the gauge.
Yeah.
And what if that's hard to read maybe in a car? Can I make that a big numeric display?
You can here under the 3 dots, switch to numerical.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. Glad that we can look at it in different ways. The strip chart shows me the evolution over time, but this one just gives me a nice big number to look at while I'm driving around. How about this analog device? You said we had a U12. Where would we set that up?
Yeah, so let me go back to the main screen here. I'm going to go to the channel settings for the RS unit. You can see I've got a U12 module here. Scroll down here to the 12th channel. Notice here it has base units of RPM and it's in a conditioning of tacho analog.
Oh, okay. So this could be a normal data channel with voltage, ICP, or strain gauges, but you can also set it to an analog tacho mode.
You can also do that, yes. And there is a second plug for channel 12 exclusively.
Oh, okay. And that's where you put an analog set of pulses coming in order to. And what kind of settings do you have here for setting up the RPM?
Scroll over here to the settings. If I jump down to pulse detection, you can see we have a detection level. I've got a 2.5 volt level, which you might think of that as zero crossing.
Okay, that's the level it has to cross in order to be counted as a pulse.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right. That's something we didn't have with the digital. It was already expecting a certain voltage range, but because the analog could be any voltage, we have a threshold that we can set, huh?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
And then under pulse processing here, you can give it the number of pulses per evolution
Okay.
for that encoder. Yeah.
So I could have 120 pulses per rev there, but that's going to update the RPM 120 times per revolution.
Right.
That seems like a lot of updates. Like you could get a pretty jittery RPM.
Yeah, you'll get a lot of torsional stuff in there.
Isn't there something to smooth that out, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, you can skip a number of those here. You turn on skip pulses, and here you can pick the number of pulses to skip from the pull down. If you look through here, these are your options for the 120. I've got 119 here. You can select.
One less than 120.
One less than 120.
It'll skip 119, so it's like a one pulse per rev. That'll be a lot smoother, huh?
That will be much, much smoother, yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I noticed you didn't turn your analog channel on. Is that you don't have any data on there?
Yeah, it's currently empty. I don't have a nice analog tacho to plug into this device yet.
Would it even warn you that it's not seeing an RPM?
Well, if I turn that on in this mode, you do get a too slow warning message here.
Oh, okay. Too slow, like you're going at 0 RPM. Is that what too slow means?
Yeah, it's like it's not seeing the pulses.
That could be whatever I'm measuring, the shaft or whatever, isn't spinning, right?
That's correct. Yeah, if you had everything set up properly and the shaft was not spinning, you would get this message as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or it could be that I miswired it or something, and then
Right.
it doesn't see any pulses.
That's true. All it means really is that it's not detecting any pulses. So
Or it could be our threshold isn't quite right.
that's true. That's very true. If I go back here and we go back to pulse detection, maybe that 2.5 is too high.
I see. So a lot of good options that you have with the analog, some that are a little bit more advanced than the digital, I guess. Huh?
That is true. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's great. Thank you very much, Miles.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. This was fun.
Yeah.